freedom uprising, a movement that still continues inside Iran and inspires many inside and outside the country. Tonight, I would like to place this anniversary within a broader context of the human rights situation in the country. I'm going to focus on three areas broadly. The first is the current crackdown that's been taking place under the guise of national security since the armed conflict between Israel and Iran in June of this year. Then I would like to also look at the systematic and widespread discrimination and violence against women and girls in Iran. And then finally, discuss the ongoing execution crisis as well. Lastly, I will also share Amnesty International's calls on the international community to pursue accountability for Iranian officials reasonably suspected of committing crimes under international law, and also discuss how activists like yourself can take part in these efforts. So Iran is in the midst of a devastating human rights crisis. Authorities continue to arbitrarily detain people, subject them to enforced disappearance, and prosecute individuals for simply exercising their fundamental human rights, like the right to freedom of expression, freedom of association, peaceful assembly, freedom of belief, freedom of religion. Torture and other ill treatment remains widespread. Individuals are suspended or expelled from school and work for nothing more than exercising these rights. This repression touches every corner of society, from people who have protested demanding change, women and girls defying compulsory veiling, to journalists, artists, social media users, writers, academics, students, LGBTI people, and members of the ethnic and religious minorities, and human rights defenders. What I've just described is the daily situation for so many in Iran, but reflecting on the last several months, the repression has been intensifying. In the aftermath of the armed conflict between Israel and Iran in June of 2025, the authorities have unleashed a terrifying crackdown, which has included mass arrests, increased widespread surveillance, and even further incitement to discrimination, hostility, and violence against minorities. Between the 13th of June and the 12th of August, the Iranian authorities say they have arrested over 20,000 people, including dissidents, human rights defenders, journalists, social media users, families of victims unlawfully killed in the nationwide protests in prior years, and foreign nationals. Others who've been targeted include Afghans, members of the Baluchi and Kurdish ethnic minorities, members of the Baha'i, Christian, and Jewish religious minorities as well. The head of the judiciary in late July, Gholam Hossein Mohseni Ejei, said that heavy punishments, including the death penalty, awaited people who he said had, quote, cooperated with Israel, end quote. Senior officials in Iran have called for expedited trials and executions for individuals accused of, quote unquote, supporting or, quote unquote, collaborating with hostile states like Israel. State-affiliated media outlets have advocated for a repetition of the 1988 prison massacres, including in a Fars News article, which stated that, and I quote, "the mercenary elements deserve 1988-style executions," end quote. The judiciary has also announced the formation of special courts to prosecute, quote, traitors and mercenaries, end quote. Parliament passed legislation, which is pending before the Guardian Council for approval, that would expand the use of the death penalty, including for vaguely worded charges like cooperation with hostile governments and also espionage. The authorities have also used this post-conflict climate as justification for further crackdown on oppressed ethnic minorities. At Amnesty, we documented that security forces in Sistan and Balochistan province unlawfully killed 2 women from Iran's oppressed Baluchi ethnic minority in a raid on a village on the 1st of July. And they injured at least 10 other women. Video footage of the incident reviewed by Amnesty shows that IRGC, so Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps agents, were pointing firearms toward the women while repeated sounds of gunshots are heard. The agents offered contradictory justifications for the raid, claiming the presence of, quote, terrorist group, quote, Afghans, and, quote, Israel. On the 25th of June, state media also announced the arrest of more than 700 people across the country for alleged collaboration with Israel, listing Kermanshah and Khuzestan provinces, home to ethnic minorities, including Kurds and Ahwazi Arabs, among those with the largest number of arrests. The authorities have also waged a mass arrest and expulsion campaign against Afghans, subjecting them to sweeping arrests and vilifying them in state media. The mass expulsions of Afghans predates the conflict, the armed conflict between Israel and Iran, and it has included the mass expulsions of those born in Iran and those living in Iran for decades. But during the period of the 1st of June to late July, approximately 500,000 Afghans were expelled from Iran alone, including several thousands of unaccompanied children.